Loaf, the rock and roll icon whose bigger-than-life persona and operatic performances thrilled fans for the last 5 decades, has died at the age of 74. Well, his Bat Out of Hell debut album remains one of the biggest-selling records of all time. The charismatic rock star was born as Marvin Lee Ade in Texas, but left at the age of 20, headed to Los Angeles to make his name. Meeting Jim Steinman changed his life. The two collaborated on Bat Out of Hell and many other records that went to the top of the charts and sold millions of copies. Well, for more on his life, Andrea Bolaido, our culture correspondent, joins me now in the studio. So great to see you. I mean, he was an incredible performer with humble beginnings. So talk to us about the man himself.
Yes, it's just been fabulous hearing these songs all day. It's really sad, but it's great to hear the music. Yes, as you say, he had a very tough childhood. He grew up with a violent alcoholic father, and his nickname eventually came from his high school coach, his high school football coach, who kind of teased him about his weight. So perhaps not great, but he took it on. He escaped from this childhood through acting. He won a role in Hair the musical and then in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then at an audition, he met his future collaborator, Jim Steinman, who you mentioned in the introduction. And that was really a defining moment of his life. The two of them composed and finally released Bat Out of Hell, which was really his career-defining work. At the time, the rock establishment was kind of actually quite scornful about it, but fans adored it. It became, as you said, one of the biggest selling albums of all time. It was an up and down life, though. After Bat Out of Hell, the pressure became too much. The pressure of fame became too much. He had a nervous breakdown. There were lawsuits. He fell out with Steinman. But eventually they healed their rift, kind of against the odds, really, and then released Bat Out of Hell 2, which was another global hit, winning him a Grammy. And in an interview, Loaf said he'd had a charmed life despite this tough start.
I've done nothing for 40 years except been in the entertainment business. And I haven't had any other job, and I've been very fortunate and very lucky, and God willing, and the creek don't rise, I can do it a little bit longer. And so I'm really blessed, you know, and it's like you know, not everybody likes you, and you just have to deal with that.
And of course, unsurprisingly, many tributes have been coming in. Just run us through what people have been saying.
Yeah, Cher said she had so much fun doing Dead Ringer for Love with him. Boy George sends his love and prayers and mentions that he was turned upside down by Loaf in a Chinese restaurant once.
Interesting detail there.
A little random. Stephen Fry, who did a Saturday Night Live skit with him in the 80s, says he hopes Paradise is as you remember it from the dashboard light. And Bonnie Tyler says he was, as you might imagine, a larger-than-life character, a one-off talent, and that really sums him up.
And really some larger-than-life names also paying tribute, unsurprisingly, of course, someone who cemented their place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Andrea Bolaido, good to have you with us. Thanks so much.